I'm still bopping to the beat.
All right.
Yeah. So FYI, little known fact about the great one of me that we me. Rhythm was not part of the chemistry experiment that God had for me. He put a lot of greatness, but rhythm was not one of them.
You got it, man. You black. You got it. Trust me. You got it.
Look at my face.
You got it, sir. You
My
got the
baby don't
rhythm.
love me for rhythm.
You can work your jelly. Trust me. You can work your jelly.
I better work a job or something.
And do something sitting down, right?
So how your Wednesday going, bro?
Man, winter's going pretty good. The weather is fair. So, no complaints over here. How are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome, fabulous, great. I'm alive. I'm
Yeah.
in a good place in life.
Yes.
Life is great. I'm good.
Yeah, it could be worse off, man. It's tsunamis and monsoons and people that are, homeless. So, yes, sir. I feel you on that, man. You got to
Mm,
appreciate what you have instead of complaining what you don't got, right?
exactly.
Yes, sir.
Right on. Right on. So we're gonna kick it all off and let's talk about. Let me get the feed up.
All right.
So what's our topic today, brother man?
Tonight's topic is a spin on Shakespeare's Hamlet's famous line, to be or not to be, that is the marriage. The complexities of modern marriage is what we're going to discuss this evening. And I do appreciate Marcus for giving me this platform because this topic came about of just reflecting on life because I was telling him earlier, he gave me the benefit of being a part of his matrimony that's coming up. And I also got a partner of mine who's also getting married a week before. So I've been invited to two weddings back to back. So I was like, there got to be something in here that I can bring to the forefront to talk about. So we'd like to welcome you to Date Affirm the Real, where we empower Black couples and singles to be the best version of themselves as we delve deep into the complexities of the human mind and relationships.
Oh,
And good evening, Kia McLean, the poet. Thanks for joining us as we are live and direct.
yeah. So matter of fact, I'm gonna read the disclaimer. I
All
feel
right,
I
go ahead,
feel I
sir.
feel fabulous today. Hold on.
There you are. Yeah.
The views and opinions expressed in the podcast are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy of Date Affirm the Real. Any content provided by our guests or hosts are their opinions and not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.
Well said, sir. I couldn't say it no better. He is Marcus. I am Don, aka Jr.Lily, the poet, and welcome to Data from the Wheel on Wednesday night as we get into this topic, to be or not to be, that is marriage. Hopefully, those that are listening will also chime in with their thoughts and opinions because this is something we want to share with our group, with our community, to get a holistic viewpoint on their thinking as well as what they think about the concept of marriage. So with that, my man here, Marcus, let's go ahead and kick this show off by diving into the evolution of marriage, and let's provide some historical context for the people that are listening.
Okay, so from my point of view, so we know we know marriage has forever going back. A lot of us, from the time we were born, marriage was always a part of any type of relationship. Like it was the segue to the ultimate goal, or the
Yes,
ultimate goal was to be married.
yes,
And just about all cultures that we know of
hmm
require ask to have some kind of ceremony
yes,
to be, or some kind of marriage. Like
yes,
somewhere in time, it's like it has to be a ceremony of marriage or something that's just showing the unity of two people.
yes,
And now Here it is, 2024.
Hmm.
Centuries and centuries of evolution. Is that a requirement? Is that really the goal? Is that necessary? Is it mandatory? Not mandatory? Is it frowned upon? Not frowned upon? These are things that's going on. But guess what? I don't give a shit.
There you go.
Be be happy, and
Yes,
we're gonna talk about it because we need to see what's gonna make us happy.
indeed. I think that is what you have to find out before you even lay any type of groundwork towards a marriage. Because if you think about the way I reflect back on the concept of marriage, it was almost like a rite of passage, right? You get older, you become a mature adult, young man, you find your lady, and you go get married, you buy your house, you got the white picket fence, you have 3 kids and a dog. That was almost like on every block, every other block you see growing up. That, as you indicated, has changed over time from 1952 to now 2024. So you have to find your comfort zone in building up to that point of wanting to get married, because there's all types of marriages, right? And that we never discussed or even talked about back and just go back to biblical times. You just get married. There was no if and or buts about it, right? So we're going to get into that and just starting off with the historical context of marriages were mostly considered a monogamous marriage. And where one person was married to another person exclusively, right? This type of marriage was legally recognized in most countries and often considered a traditional form of marriage in many cultures. You may go to a local church, or a pastor would proceed over the ceremony, you jump the
Mm-hmm.
broom, and you're considered man and wife. You ride off, the white lady wears a white dress, the man wears a nice black tux. You get into the limousine, and you go on your honeymoon. That was mostly what we saw in
And be
feature
broke.
films or what we may have seen our family do from previous marriages. That historical context has definitely changed as time has evolved.
Yeah. So it has evolved, and the another thing that's evolved is the what is the true meaning of it.
Mm, let's get
The
down to it.
also another thing involved is the bond of it, which is another
Yes,
which something else we won't get into. But is in my mind as a kid, it was a chain that should not be broken. That can't be broken.
yes.
Now, to me, divorce is so easy. Marriage, hell, I'm being divorced. Marriages ain't no chain, so it's some thread.
Okay.
It can be broken real easy. So this is
My
what we got.
man is speaking from experience here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I don't been divorced. Trying to get not trying again. And about to get married again. So
Mm,
don't get it twisted. Now this I ain't this one here, this one out here around this house. Oh, that baby a chain.
mm,
Chain no strain no strain. I'm gonna give her flowers. She a chain.
okay.
But that's another thing. What we got to figure out. This is what we're gonna get into. I think we should get into is how they say what I eat don't make you shit. What I do to be happy is not gonna make you necessarily make you happy.
Exactly.
Another person happy.
That's
So
that's a good point to begin on that, because as you say, pertaining to happiness, you have to, reading my notes here, you have to find someone that you are within equal yoke with. You have to have similarities. You have to have like visions and goals that you can lay a foundation to build upon, even before the concept of renting a chapel even begin, because there is monetary value pertaining to getting married. You just don't, well, you can, but the concept is you just don't simply just walk into a Wednesday night on a prayer meeting and say, I want to get married. You just have to go through steps and processes to build to that point. And that is something we're also going to discuss this evening as well.
Yeah. So will you something you just said? Maybe question.
Hmm.
Equal yoke. Is
Yeah.
that a biblical thing or is that non-biblical? Where did equal yoke come from?
That equal yoke is a term that I've heard over the decades that's been passed about, and I think it may relate to biblical terminology. Whereas Shamika, the therapist, maybe can
Oh,
pull up
oh
that
shit.
biblical verse in regards to that. But yeah, equal yoke is something that's related to a biblical term when finding someone that is within your compatibility range that are on the same level as you begin to build out your blueprint towards tying the knot.
Yeah. Okay. So hold on, baby. So I gotta pin a question. I gotta send a question real quick or post it in
Okay,
the comments.
go ahead. Do your thing, man.
You know. But yeah. So that's what I always wanted to get at by equal yoke because now I because now my point is now is making sure everybody's on the same page, and
Yes.
that's nothing that we here at Data from the Real try to stress is either when you're in a relationship, going into a
Yes.
relationship, single, everything has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
If I'm single, I need to be on the same page with myself. You know what I need to outline or what makes me happy to do for myself and do this. I have to be on say the same page spiritually. If I'm in a relationship, me and her has to be on the same page to grow. If I'm dating
Indeed.
someone, I have to be on the same. We have to be on the same page to see if we can go to the next level.
Agreed. I definitely do agree. I was listening to a conversation on the radio today, and this is Dia Hughley's show. I'm going to share it real quickly. The lady came in there and she said her and her husband was married, and he recently got laid off, and he couldn't pay the bills when there were time to do because he was laid off. So he asked her, "Could you just cover the bills until he get back on his feet?" Now the lady said that her money is hers and his money is theirs. So they, in that aspect of understanding, were not equally yoked when it came to them being in a marriage and not even understanding the seriousness if you're not willing to just cover finances that the family need to function. If your money is yours, then we already got a problem, right?
Right. So it it's funny when we first started when Key and I first started Data from the Real several years ago. One of the things we did, we had live events,
Yes.
and our first event was an all male panel,
Mm.
and one of the ladies in the audience had said that same thing. Her money is her money.
What?
His money is. I'm paraphrasing, but pretty much that
Okay.
his money take care of everything. Her money is her money. His money take care of everything and her. But
So
I
it's okay for
was
him to be broke, but she can run around with.
yeah, but at the same time I was pleased to see here that a lot of people didn't agree with that.
Yeah.
And one thing equally yoked means is we both yoked on the security of this household or this
Mhm.
relationship. To me, this is what I understanding.
Yeah.
You, I have no matter of fact, I have no doubts in my mind
Hmm.
if I was ever in that situation, Key McLean, the poet, would step in and be like, "Babe, I got us. You just worry about get back on track." So
Let's
somebody
let's
like that, go ahead, go ahead. Because who?
let's dive into a little bit deeper in regards to equally yoke. I think we may have discussed on a previous podcast before when there's indication of dating within your range. If, say, for instance, a guy is making a decent amount of money, six figures, and he meets somebody who's working at a, say, for instance, Taco Bell or something, and you know they get together and plan on marriage, and he all of a sudden he loses his job. Do you think they can live off her Taco Bell money? But meeting someone within your same yoke, I feel that that should always be brought up for discussion, because you have to be able to have those, again, those difficult conversations. When someone loses their job, then someone needs to carry the family. Otherwise, that is the end game right there. That's pretty much, you can't go any farther, because money, we need that to even have a substantial means of living. What do you feel about that
So
concept, Marcus?
so let me so let me get in here real quick on myself. I'm let's say I'm making I'm throw some round numbers up. I'm making 100,000,
Yeah.
100K a year. And the lady and I'm not no matter of fact, the lady I'm involved with or married to, whatever, in a relationship with,
Hmm.
she's making 25,000 a year. We're living we're not living on 25,000, right? We're living on pretty much 100,000.
Yeah.
I lose my gig, and you're saying that it's going to be that I can't we not equally yoked because she make that much less than me.
It's going to be difficult
Oh,
to depend on that person, because that person is depending on you to sustain a certain lifestyle. Maybe that's something that, and we can dive into deeper to just try to get the layers of that onion peeled back, because that is something I just feel that should be discussed. As Keith McLean said here in the comments, they didn't have that upfront conversation, because you plan for the future, right? You want to have a nest egg in case of hard times, like, you have 6 months of savings, right? Just throwing
mm-hmm.
out a number out there. But in reality, most of us are living paycheck to paycheck, month to month, trying to get by on two incomes, not let alone one income. So one income, possibility you can survive if your means of living are modest. But if someone is trying to live a certain lifestyle, a certain affirmation, they're going to take a hit, and it can definitely affect the other person if they're not able to continue to support the person while they go out and try to find other means of employment or something of that nature. Because it could be a couple of months of bills not being paid. It can be an issue down the road, as Keith McLean has chimed in and indicated. So you want to ensure that a person that you're equally yoked with is understanding of that. So if you have those conversations up front,
Okay.
they have a idea of your way of thinking. You have an idea of their philosophy, and therefore you can determine how to plan for those occasions or emergencies as they may come up or out the blue. But some of those things like that just happen. No one plans to get laid off, but things like that happen.
Yeah. So I follow you now. So yeah, I could agree with that. And I'm not big enough. I'm not astrology versed, but
Mhm.
they could say I'm a Pisces. But my thing would be my first thought would be like the way I know she down for me and she truly for me, or a sign she's truly for me is when it got tough. She didn't go.
Didn't fold. You didn't fold.
Right. She ain't take her Taco Bell money and dip off. He's leave me a couple sauce packs.
Indeed. Eat Taco Bell, man, you
Yeah.
broke.
Cause think about it, she work at Taco Bell. We ain't going hungry. We may not have
You
no
ain't going
power,
hungry.
but we ain't going hungry.
Man, there were days I worked at Arby's, so I never went hungry because that's what I ate. But but beyond that, that's another conversation. Another conversation. So let's continue the
Okay,
topic.
let's go with it.
Marriage, cultural shifts. We can examine how cultural perceptions of marriage have evolved from necessities of survival and social standings to a union based on love and personal fulfillment. So if we think about society, cultural factors play a substantial role in the decision to marry. In many cultures, marriage is seen as a rite of passage and a significant milestone in a person's life. It can bring social status, fulfill religious and cultural traditions, and meet family expectations. So when I was researching this, I thought about how some families try to marry into a richer family so that it almost sets a continuation of generations to be taken care of. So if you have kids by this man, if he ever decides to divorce you, leave you, you got alimony, you got child support. Not saying that's always correct, but you think about how a person may decide to marry someone who's of a wealthy significance or more of a wealthy influence so that they can have that security in the future going forward.
Oh, that's strong. And so many
It is.
levels.
It is.
Yeah. We could talk about that, what in a whole different ways because that's a culture. And we not, culture may not be heritage or the strong foundation of this and that. Culture is a style, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
some
know,
cultures they try to push them off at a young age.
sure
Not
do.
giving a number, but at a young age, saying you got to get out there and find you somebody who is making 6, 7 figures because this family needs support. And you
Yeah.
marry into that wealth, and you pretty much are set, right?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. He's 6'8" and playing and play for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Don't you use no protection.
Is that how
Make
the
it
conversation
yeah
goes, sir?
yeah. Don't you let that man put no protection on, baby. Uh-uh. Or yeah, we need to keep that money. We need to keep that money on this side of the aisle. Things of that nature. Yes, that's the cult. That's a culture.
I got a
Oh,
question here in the comments. It says, what about when you have that discussion up front and when something happens and he loses his job, she steps up and he feels insecure by her handling the household without his income? Angel B has provided that comment. Now that is an onion of its own because that comes to the fact of a man being insecure about his self. Because if you are with someone and she steps up and is going to take care of the family while you are down and out, you got to pull your bootstraps up and say, man, get back on your high horse and get out there and make it happen. She's giving you the support that you need. There's no need, I feel, to be insecure or get all emotional in this point because you go through the emotions when you are laid off. You have those doubts and those thoughts that go through your mind. I'm just speaking from experience of being laid off, so I've been in that situation. But if you got someone who supports you through that time, you got to step up and man and reciprocate what's being given. You got a chance to get out there and take your time and find something that you feel that is worthy of gainable employment. But don't sit there and pout. There's no time to pout. You know what
yeah. So I agree with everything you just said. That's a personal insecurity that this man has. That if he can't, it doesn't make you less of a man
I mean?
if you was knocked on your ass.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you less of a man if you make less money than your partner.
Yes.
All that doesn't matter. Life is gonna knock you down. Life gonna knock you down
Hmm.
regardless. And it's nice to have somebody there to help you up.
We got a follow up here, man. This thing is
Okay,
getting deep.
let's
But
get
yet
deep.
she lets him know the bills are paid, and no matter what, she got him. She let him know, but he still went about his business saying she don't need him. Apparently, she good now though. Oh man, that's 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 a whole nother level. If he's still feeling like that after all that has been done, he may need to see some therapy because there is no reason I would feel like that. I mean, if I was in that situation, there's no reason for me to feel like that because she got you, she holding it down. You got to get out there and make it happen, man.
Right. So yeah, that's a one. That's you're right. That's he got some issues, and two, them issues probably already been there.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can almost guarantee the red flag was there from day two of knowing each
Day
other.
two. He said day two.
You know, it was indications. It was just this insecurity finally has enough water to
Hmm.
blossom, and and it can be shown to the world.
Yeah, people usually they flight or fight one thing again, I'm not a therapist either, but I've understood human reactions is people tend to gravitate to what they know when when the heat get turned up and the pressure is on them. They gravitate to what they know. So if a person is a runner and depend on somebody else to handle the ish when it gets thick, that's what they used to do. But if someone knows how to buckle down, it's okay, we're gonna batten the hatches, we're gonna get through this and know how to survive and find means of hustle, legal hustle, find means of and ways of getting stuff done. That's what they do. So a person knows what it takes to get stuff done will do that. Someone who doesn't know will run and cower. And unfortunately, it sometimes shows in the situation that's being explained here. He's being insecure about someone who's holding him down, which is in turn helping him out. They are the giver. You can't be a taker in this situation. You have to be reciprocal and give back. So you got to get off your ass and make stuff happen, man. You no time to be folding. Grown ass men out here.
Brother, I feel you were
Yeah.
speaking from the heart and the soul
Yes,
on that.
sir.
I saw the passion in your face. Well,
Yeah, I'm
good
speaking
Lord,
because
man, you was
I'm
like,
telling you, there's
I
no
can hear
time
that,
to be folding, man. You can
man.
fold when you go to sleep at night. You can do that, you can cuddle in fetal position. But beyond that, man, you gotta make shit happen because if you don't, she probably don't need you because she
Okay,
she gonna
okay.
move over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I need to go. Well, they use so much passion. I need to go find me a new job. I need
Three
4
jobs, right?
podcasts. Jeez.
But Keaton McLean, go ahead, says partnership requires us to be partners and get support and support them. Yes, indeed. You gotta, it's 100%. It's no 50-50. You giving 50%, you half-assing. Don't half-ass it, whole ass it. 100% on both sides, man. That's how you make it
Right,
work.
and back to what she was saying, you need to appreciate what you got.
Yeah,
In situations like that, when the insecurity is,
yeah,
they don't appreciate it till it's gone.
indeed.
And me and Babe was just talking about a man may not realize what he had till it's gone, and you can't get it back because she don't look back.
Don't look back.
They don't look back.
You burnt that bridge.
So you better learn that lesson and thank your ex.
And thank your ex. But listen, this is a good segue because this brings us to our next topic of conversation, which is the pressures and challenges, expectations and reality.
Talk to me.
So we explore the common expectations people have about marriage and how they align with reality. We discuss the impacts of media, family, and society pressures on these expectations. Economics, not having a job or having a job. This can also drive people to marry, as marriage can offer financial stability. Marriage offers tax benefits and the pooling of resources. Two heads are better than one. You can be able to afford a house, you can be able to have a comfortable place to live. In essence, while love is often the centerpiece of marriage, what love got to do with it, various emotional, social, cultural, and practical factors also contribute to why people decide to tie the knot. Love is not necessarily the main factor. You got to look at sometimes the benefits that this marriage can bring. It can bring about, as you indicate, you marry a baller, an NFL football player, or NBA player, they paid. You're going to be taken care of financially. You have no stresses about your future, your kids' future, your kids' future. Everything is financially taken care of. That is a big factor when some people determine how they're going to marry. Not why, but how they're going to marry. I think those are two different concepts.
Okay. So I'm an advocate for love is first with the strengthening of everything else to support the marriage.
Yeah,
Or happiness and love first. But you need the economic support to make it sustainable and have a great future. But we also talk about things
come on
like
now.
arranged marriages.
It's 2024, man. Come on with it.
Yeah, arranged marriages. They've been around forever, and those a lot
Yes.
of times are sustainable. But because I've never witnessed an arranged marriage per se,
Hmm.
I've got a chance to dig deep into it,
Hmm.
a lot they I hear they last, but are they happy? And what's acceptable in arranged marriage?
Mm, that's a good
So
point.
when you marry,
That's a culture
it's a
thing.
culture thing. But you're marrying. If you marry for, let's say we take love out of it,
Okay. What
and
love got to do with it?
we marry because the puzzle pieces fit.
Yes.
You have this, I have that. You compliment this, I compliment that.
Hmm.
You know, we could we can put us together. We make moves, or like you said, your family's this, my family's that. It's just a union, just like
Yeah.
the princes and princesses.
Yeah.
We got joiners, political, whatever.
Hmm.
That a lot of times that can be sustainable, because
It can
I
be.
guess it's what the priority is.
Yes.
So the economic it can probably work. I can imagine, but I just gonna say that ain't for me. It's necessary. It
Yeah.
just won't be my primary.
Agree. Because you think about some people who've been married 40, 50, 60 years, and they may have got married at a young age. And some people say, I never got a chance to experience life. He was my high school sweetheart. We married right out of high school, and things have been this way. He's been the man, I've been a woman, or vice versa. He's always taking care of the house, and he's made a good enough money so that they can live comfortably. But then a person decides they want to see what they have to offer to the marriage. Because if sometimes people marry, it's always one sided, right? I'm gonna marry you, you're gonna be my wife, therefore I'm going to dictate that you do this, this, and this. And that person may feel like there is more to a marriage than just being your subservient. You think about back in the biblical days, right? A man to be subjected to his wife, not necessarily saying that's the full context of it, but some people live by those principles to this day and say, this is my wife, she can't come outside, gotta be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. That's not a realistic way to look at things in 2024, but however, some people still feel they have those views based in biblical terms or based on what they think a marriage should be.
Yeah. Um. Like I go back to the original point. It's also based
Yeah.
on being happy. If you want to be barefoot and pregnant, don't want to come out of the house, go for it. Um. But at the same time, if it ain't good for you and that's just the arrangement you have,
Yeah.
can you live with it? Can you sustain it? Can your life force sustain it? That's more so your life force, because the longer you're unhappy, you're taking days off your life.
Yeah.
You putting more. You know how you say, you look at a person and say, "Oh, they've been through it."
Yeah. Yeah.
That glow
Yeah.
ain't there. You ain't the last dragon no more.
You ain't
You ain't
shining no
got
more.
you ain't got the golden glow. You got them Benjamin Buttons in your face. You know. So every time, the longer that's unhappy, you just ticking days off, hours, minutes off your life. To me,
If you think about the expectation versus reality, a guy sees a fine chick, but oh, she fine, right? Man, I gotta have her. Then she got a nice banging body. She's pretty in the face, cute waist. That's his expectation that she's always going to be cute. They get married. 5 years pass, 10 years pass, a couple of kids pop out, and she's no longer maintaining that physique. Now the reality has set in. There got to be some love there. Otherwise, a man gonna be like, you're not the same person you are when I met. Sometimes he may have higher standards that may be unrealistic as well, because we men sometimes we are superficial on looks and appearance
more than
when
sometimes.
we need to look beyond that and look deep inside. As Angela B has indicated, if she's holding you down, and then vice versa, there is, you say, the puzzle piece of fitting. You got to look beyond those looks and say, hey, she was there for me doing X, Y, Z, A, B, C. I should want to reward her and stay with her and make her, my wife forever. But sometimes that reality sets in, and a guy sees another banging chick, and like, ooh, what's over here? Like, their eyes start to wander, and maybe that's within themselves. That insecurity. Insecurity is not always based on the fact that you got laid off. Insecurity is based on the fact that you are not faithful to the person that you have married. You think about that?
All right, so my mind got stuck on something,
Okay.
and this is what another topic that Kia and I discussed years ago,
Hmm.
and what triggered me that thought was when you said reward.
Hmm.
We shouldn't be marrying to reward someone.
Okay.
Reward and gratitude is not the reason to be married, and that's why I
All
just
right.
want to point that out. Um, Now, the thing about this body thing like this, unfortunately, that can be superficial,
Hmm.
and men are superficial. I'm sorry, a lot of times we are superficial, but that's no excuse for going and just because she bears your children and she didn't get her body back where it was. I think that's just is wrong.
Hmm.
But at the same time, it does. I think honestly, this will be. I think this is me, and I'm speaking from an experience point of view. What
Hmm.
I didn't do,
Yeah.
and maybe I might be wrong on this, but that should be a discussion about how you feeling or the attraction.
Hmm.
I'm a heavy set, sexy dude, so I know my weight is an issue. And if the attraction is gone and she tells me it's gone, I need to come to a reality: is it the love gone, or just that certain level of attraction gone?
Hmm.
Because attraction is also emotional.
Hmm.
So I
Speak,
need to
sir.
determine is the emotion gone or just that certain layer of animal lust gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Besides being healthy, but I think that's really important because
Hmm.
we're going to men are very visual and they like to look.
Hmm.
Looking is not the creature; it's the acting upon the emotional, or excuse
Yeah.
me, that it's acting on a primal urge
Yes.
after looking.
Indeed.
So, and that's the part that really gets
Yeah. You
funny.
got those bad intentions if you're going beyond that concept, right? Wearing the sunshades, just
Yeah,
anything.
and this is and then this can go into a whole nother lane because this is where we go into that I'm gonna say bullshit. Men are hunters. This is how I don't know if that's a gaslight or
It's
what.
not
I
gaslight, man.
it's like I said, men are hunters, so we go and hunt.
There is a chemical construct within our DNA.
Talk to me, Doctor Magoo.
All right, we are mammals, right? We
Okay,
are the only mammals that can talk. If you look at a pack of wolves, the man wolf going to have a herd of women that he himself will guard to his life to make sure no young buck gonna try to take over. Any mammal does that. A dog will sleep with 10 heifers if he can in one day because that's his genetic component. That's in his DNA. That's in his structure. We have those same genes. However, we are the only ones who can rationalize and realize and stop that from happening. Other animals just do it because it's in them. They wake up in the morning, oh, I'm gonna go hunt 3 dogs and go back to sleep. Like nothing happened. Had a whole little puppies. Ain't nobody raising nothing. They run around like little brats. We're only mammals that can actually relate and subject and alter and change and rationalize with and communicate with and talk about it. Otherwise, we'll be dogs. We'll be wolves. We'll be out there doing what every other animal does and not even talking about it. But since we can communicate it brings us to a little more maturity level. It brings us to a little bit more of the human aspect of it. We are humans. We are mammals, yes, but we are humans. Therefore, we have to behave as such. We're not dogs. We're not wolves. So we have to control that animalistic intent or the animalistic nature that sometimes a man may have when he's in his younger 20s, right? He out there hopping and sowing his rows, whatever it may be, right? But we can control that. We have the concept, the understanding to control
Okay, I can hear you on that, but I don't necessarily. I still think it's bullshit. But go ahead.
that. It's bullshit, but it is bullshit, but it is within our DNA structure. It's
Oh,
what
to
we
to
have.
to do, no, yeah, well, so yeah, to populate to keep the species going.
Yeah, if you think about Lot had to sleep with his daughters biblically in days because he had to repopulate.
Well, a
Wife
lot
had
has happened
died.
since then.
Yeah, a lot has happened. It's just 2024, so we're talking about expectations versus reality. But yes, again, we can control that, but then we're going to get down to the other concepts of marriage as we continue this conversation. And there's a comment here about Kia McLean. I just want to bring up real quick. She says she knows someone who stays barefooted and pregnant. She seems to be okay with it, but that wouldn't work for her. Understand? And then there got to be another. There's another comment that says love is not always enough. It's not always appreciated, but the action part of love should count and bring two together. Some feel saying the word is enough. Negative is not. The actions must also works without faith. As again, speaking in biblical references, you can't have works without faith. So you got to be able to back up what you're saying. And with that, we're going to segue to our next section, which is communication and compatibility, which we're talking into the importance of communicating and compatibility in sustaining a healthy marriage. We're talking about the advice on negative conflicts, emotional labor, and maintaining intimacy. So if you think about communication and compatibility aspect, companionship is one of the most common reasons many people marry because they have found love. Again, this is not based on arranged. This is based on love. They found love with a partner they deeply care about and want to spend the rest of their lives with. Marriage can provide a sense of stability, emotional support, and a lifelong friendship that many find fulfilling and essential for their happiness. So within that companionship, there has to be communication and there has to be compatibility.
Right. I found love on a lonely highway.
There you
Anyway,
go, man. Man, the oldies there, sir.
yeah. All right. Communication. Once again, one of the fundamentals of data from the real.
Yes, communication.
One of the main things I suck at too. I'm better, but I still suck at it.
I mean, you're an expert, man. Come on.
No, I am, but but not just not. I'm not. No, I'm just joking. But no, I'm not an expert on it. I still suck at it. I got ways to go and keep going.
Mhm.
And because of communication, you can't. Without communication, you can't have compatibility.
Exactly.
Oh, you can't know compatibility. And also communication. If you look at the definition, it doesn't say it's got to be verbal.
It's not always verbal. Love language.
Love language,
Remember
right?
that podcast.
Yeah,
Love
things
language.
of that. Even anyway, you can be. Matter of fact, right? This is what we haven't done. I'm gonna say we have. Me and my baby haven't wrote a letter to each other in a couple of years.
Mhm.
And writing a letter to your partner or maybe somebody you dating, you write to each other. And what it can do, I found it allows you to say what you got to say with no interruptions and allows them to read it
Yes.
without you interrupting them.
I got a funny story to share with you, man.
But
I'm
go
not
ahead.
laughing at you. But I'm
No, no,
laughing
you
at
go
myself
for it, dog.
because me and my lady did that the other day. And just based on our styles, right? I'm a writer, a poet,
Oh
right?
shit, I know how that goes.
So I get in there and I actually type up the letter on a piece of paper and print it out and send it to her, right? And she goes in and hand writes a letter and put it out like we in high school. So it's just I just reflect, that how funny that is to
Judge
contrast
much?
two different means of getting to the same place. Right, I'm doing things professional because that's what I do all day at work. Right, you typing up stuff, so or type, and then she's pouring out from the heart, like lovebird. So it's just funny. I was laughing at that.
Yeah, it's funny, it's cool, but
Yeah.
let's stop there on that.
Mhm.
Was it effective? And the reason you did it was the mission accomplished.
The mission was accomplished because of what we agreed to do. I think the effectiveness will still take place because we are allowing for time to allow certain things to happen. So we can say, okay, 3 months, we decide we're going to accomplish these goals. Okay, we can go back and reflect and say, hey, did we hit these goals? If not, what was the reason? We can go back and revisit that and rehash that out. But we are allowing time to take place. So it's not a everyday thing or feel like it's an everyday pressure. It's giving yourself time to achieve certain things if you have any individual goals or achieve certain things together as a couple if you have a long-term vision. So that was the concept that we did.
Yeah, and it also goes back to what we was talking about. That letter is also showing y'all compatibility, see if y'all on the same page on certain things
Yeah,
when y'all establishing these goals.
yeah, yeah, indeed.
You know, me personally, I'm gonna be like you, I'm not gonna print it out. But I
Don't be
have to.
like you.
I can't write it out. I need to spell check.
That's why you type it. So you be like,
Man, Ace, no real talk. My spelling's so bad sometimes. I'm gonna give you an example. If you if you was on a date affirm the real TikTok this past weekend,
I saw that.
I posted some shit and the whole title was misspelled.
I saw that.
And you didn't say shit. But anyway,
It's not about. I was going to get to, because we have conversations a lot, so I was going to get to you on that topic, in which you can, But when you post it, you can't change that. I don't know about TikTok, but that's
I
post.
had to delete the whole post.
I did see that. I'm like, man, I can't leave a man hanging out there like that. But I've done it too. So yeah, I've done it too, man.
Yeah, but my my babe, she's texting me and say, "Hey, you know you misspelled some words," but that communication, and it was funny. I didn't take
Mhm.
offense to it because it was. I know I misspelled some. She's
Yeah,
like, "You need to start sending it to me first."
that's the compatibility part. Yeah,
Yeah, I still ain't did it. But anyway,
but yeah. What you're referencing communication is the foundation, because you have to understand the compatibility. So if you think about when it comes to conflicts, you can't just scream and shout at each other and go in separate rooms and shut the door and hope it calms down. And you may do that still, but after you have calmed down and after time has passed, you got to talk about it. You got to hash it out because that is emotional labor. You have to discuss what ticked you off and what can be done to ensure that issue doesn't abrase you again, because there are trigger words, there are trigger scenarios, there are situations where some people would push your buttons on purpose just for you to go off the rails. That in itself is not compatibility. That's red flags.
yeah, that's a big red flag. That's a big
Yeah,
problem.
it's not a
I
circus. You got to run.
I, I often say, if you got if you got a key to my heart, you got a key to my destruction.
If you got a key, you can get in anytime.
Right. So
From experience, trust me.
you have the nuclear code, so you know what buttons to push to blow me up.
Yeah.
And I have to trust. If I trust you and you've been around me, you know what's going on.
What's up,
Floyd.
Floyd?
Yeah. So if you have, like I said, if you have the key to my heart, you have the key to my destruction.
To give Floyd the cliff notes. He coming in here a half hour late, man. What's going on, Floyd? We about
Hey,
to.
Floyd get passes. He
Oh, he got the notes already. You sent it to him.
no, let me get past because he's usually a faithful follower and come on but
Yeah, yeah.
So it said,
Yes.
what do you say right? What Floyd say right there?
Say, key to my heart, you have the key to my destruction deepens. Yes, sir, indeed. That person can can gaslight you. They can strike your match. They can put it out. They can ruin your life. You don't have the right person. Get a key to them. Man.
Man. So what we got? What we got next, brother?
So from that discussion of communication compatibility, we go to our next segment, which is alternatives and future perspectives. So we're going to discuss alternative relationship model by introducing the listeners to alternative relationship models such as cohabitation, open relationships, and long-term partnership without marriage. There are benefits and drawbacks of these alternatives. And we're going to begin the first discussion by talking about the polygamous marriage, which polygamy, we all know, refers to a marriage involving more than two partners. There are two main types of polygamous marriage: polygamy, where a man has multiple wives, and polygamy, I never heard of that, where a woman has multiple husbands.
I seen that show.
Polygamy is more common in practice in varying cultures and religion, usually in the state of Utah, or those that are or maybe a Mormon faith. Or don't get me wrong, now we're not here to offend any religion, but I've seen those aspects of polygamy, and it's all aspects. But I know from the roots of it came from a certain source. It was just I can't hear you, Marcus.
I didn't say nothing yet.
Okay, okay.
I was just listening. I just said I saw the episode that whatever TV show Key and I watched for a couple episodes was this. It ain't Utah. She was in Houston. She was down in that Houston area acting a damn fool trying to get two or three husbands.
Yeah, it's definitely it's more I'm not gonna say a common practice, but you see it you see it spread out more than from what it originally was the root of or the concept of it was. Because if you think about the India Hindu religion, they do actually don't call it polygamy, but they do have multiple wives. One guy will have the concept of marrying multiple women, and therefore it is allowed and it's acceptable within their area of the country. And
Right. I don't quote me on it, but isn't there certain parts of Africa where that's acceptable as well?
possibility, yes. If you Kuta Kente and you out there, Zulu warrior, you're gonna have multiple wives because you again are living out those DNA genomes. It's within your DNA, just like a tribe of wolves. He's gonna have multiple wives or wolves that he's gonna maintain.
Hey,
It's not necessarily wives.
you ain't gonna put my people and wolves in the same conversation. That's what it ain't gonna do.
Well, I mean, wolves. It can be moose. It can be deer. It's all animals have the same structure. It could be walruses. They all have the same structure. We're the only mammal that actually can reflect and say, "Damn, damn, she fine." We don't want to say that. They can't say it. They just do it.
So,
Yeah,
but as we talk about the polygamy
yeah.
issue, you know, I'm not gonna knock it.
Hmm.
I can't do it.
I ain't got the strength to do it.
That's one.
Man.
I got the strength to do it. Even if I had the desire, you have to be able to, as a man, and my definition of a man for myself is be able to run my household or be the head of. I won't say run to be head of my household. And
Just read Keel's comment.
what she say? Hold on, really, really.
She says I would have you and Idris, babe. Man, there's gonna be some fighting going on now. There's gonna be some furniture moving. They ain't gonna have that. Idris gonna get cut.
He better
Continue, sir. I thought that was funny.
that Negro better eat my. Or that's the case. He better not ever like eat my Fruit Loops my my fruity pebbles or my cocoa puffs. If you want
You
to go
know,
down
like,
like that,
it'd be
and
like baby boy.
he got put more he got put in on this household.
You know, nigga taking breakfast
Yeah,
like baby boy.
yeah. All right, now we ain't gonna have I ain't gonna have that visualization with my soon to be wife and he just going to some baby boy shit. We ain't gonna do that now. We gonna take that joke that damn far.
Too damn far. Okay. All right, sir. All right. Let's tone it down. Yeah, but alternate relationship marriages. We talk about the polygamous marriage. What you indicated, you've seen it on a couple of shows. Is actually is in certain religions and concepts of their beliefs. There's also modern times. There's same sex marriages that has been put into law in certain states, which know that there is a fight going on to retrieve that or reprieve that to disallow same sex marriages, which is two individuals of the same sex. However, you may feel about that, it is in certain areas allowed. There is also arranged marriages, what we talked about earlier, where the spouse will typically choose my family members, particularly parents, rather than the individuals choosing themselves. And that's also in certain cultures in other worlds where that is allowed to happen. We have civil marriages, which is when you go down to Vegas and you find somebody who's an ordained minister and you can get married that way, or you find somebody
Black
who's a government
Elvis.
official and you can get married. And then you have cohabitation and agreements with people. It's almost like you don't even get married at all, but it's common law if you got mail coming to the house in 6 months you've been living together, right? Common law marriage is what we typically describe
Mm-hmm.
it as.
So basically, a lot of those. I hate to put back go to it. Do you and do what's best for you.
Yeah.
If you're happy and if you have three wives, like I said, my mindset is, hey, if you have three wives and you're able to have an effective, harmonious household, have three wives. The key word is harmonious.
Yeah.
You know, go for it. If you're a lady and you have three husbands, not including Idris, and it's harmonious, go for it. You know,
Indeed.
we
Indeed.
talking compatibility.
Yes.
Everything has to be on the same page. The
Companionship.
communication, everything. Go for it. It's not judging is not a job I choose to have.
Yeah.
You know,
A lot of
this
people don't want to
is
be judged. That's why they do the things that they're doing nowadays. Because if someone can find love and get married, they're saying, why put a limitation on male, female, right?
right. And if you're stronger, this is what I like about it. What I do respect them.
Yeah.
If you have those marriages or relationships that's outside the so-called norm, and you walking openly with it, that's a confidence that I have to admire. That's a
Indeed.
secureness that you have to admire.
Yeah.
That you could take the judgment because people going to judge. You can do all that.
I have
Oh yeah, what she say?
well, this is not what we're saying. I'm gonna read that next, but I remember it was a joke. I want to remember what comedian said it, but he said, uh, was it Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle? He said, "You can be single and lonely or married and bored, but there is no happiness nowhere." It's like he take that with a grain of salt. But he was again, he was joking about marriage or something. I can't remember who actually said that. It may have been Chris Rock. I'm trying to
It's
reflect,
like
but
some Chris Rock stuff.
yeah, I think it was him in one of his stand-ups. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely alternatives in different types of marriage and the way people view them. You have to respect that because people that stand out on what their beliefs are is the same belief that you stand out on. So you can't be judgmental of someone else because of what you're doing. Because again, like Marcus said, he can't judge. I can't judge. There's only one person who's going to make that final decision. But if you decide to go that way, you better be happy with it, because you can't do all that and then at the end of the day be like, oh man, I should not have done that. If you're gonna go out of G, go out on top, make
Right on.
yourself. Yeah,
Right on. So, I think we should go ahead.
yeah.
We so everybody out there in broadcast land, we like here on our Wednesday night, we like to do what they call the on the spot segment,
Hmm.
where somebody out there, you feel free to ask Don and I a question. We don't know what it is, and we're going to answer it honestly and transparently. So let's take a few seconds, think about it, and we're gonna go to on the spot question. So while they think about a question, Don, hey, I really enjoyed the topic tonight. It actually
Indeed.
manifested way better than I initially thought it was going. How great it was going to be.
Yeah.
Uh, I love I love how we interact with the joking and stuff. And one day I'm gonna get me some singing lessons. So when all these song references come, I can actually do it some justice.
Yeah. We gotta pay no copyright.
For
You do a
real.
cover.
And I'm gonna start singing to my love on a lonely highway tonight.
You gotta
Babe,
sing, man.
get ready for that serenade tonight.
Serenade and the fries
Uh,
and Idris, because he paying the bills. That's what she said. She said it will be harmonious with Idris. He can put in on the bills, man.
man,
So
so apparently there's three things my baby love. Not more than me. Before I say, just put that out there.
okay, okay.
Fries, Idris, and Tupac. Once she said I made it past the Tupac stage. Oh yeah, she's gonna say yes to marriage all day.
You
Anyway,
you got the thug life on your stomach, man. You get a couple of tats. You get
yeah,
the,
it's
the
between
do
the second
rag
and third
tie.
row. All right, you ready for the segment?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. Let's do it, man. She says, "Please do not sing to me, babe. We are not equally young." Oh man, you got some practice to do, man. You start in the shower. You're supposed to do it in the shower, man, and work your way up, man.
Man,
You know, I used to
I'm trying
beatbox
to
back in the
I'm trying to
days.
get my ass clean in the shower. Damn, some singing. I'm working
All
on
right,
getting
man.
the dirt off.
Welcome to On the Spot, where we allow our guests to ask questions to the host so the audience can get our direct views and opinions on the topic of discussion. So, anyone has any questions they would like to ask Marcus or me, Don, we would gladly uh, indulge. What would be the three components of marriage for you both? I'm going to dive into that first because I did have my notes here from writing this segment. Here, my three components starting off is first one is of equal yoke. You got to find somebody who you feel like is on the same level as you, intellectually, emotionally, compatibility wise. Then you have to have similar spiritual, religious goals. How do you feel about things that are going on in the world, and how do they relate to you spiritually? You have a concept of biblical terms. You believe in God. You believe in a higher power. And then you have to have similar long-term goals. You can lay that out, write that out. You can jot that down, but those things have to align, and you can always revisit that at a later time, but you at least have to have those goals up front, talked about, charted so that you can revisit 6 month increments, 3 month increments, a whole year increment, so you can say, okay, we seem to be still on the same track. Because there may be times that people's ideas and concepts can change, and if you don't talk about it, you wonder why your partner may be withdrawing or not always talkative in certain situations because they may not feel the same as you, but if you can have those continued conversations, you can find out why and determine what's the best course. Because there's nothing wrong with saying this is not working, but silence can definitely uh, bring a wrong impression when you're trying to come together as one or even decide how you're going to proceed your future. You got to talk about it, communication.
Okay, right on. So my first one is love or an emotional connection. I am a by nature a fantasy person, and that emotional connection fulfills that fantasy part of me. I I love hard. I love strong. You know, and I need that back. That's the first component.
Mhm.
The second component, I need that I'm down for you vibe. My my position, I don't want to put you in. I got when things get rough, I got to be. I'm down for you. I don't want to put her in that position.
Mhm.
I love the fact that I know it's in her. That means so much to me. That our our togetherness is a priority,
Mhm.
and that is so deep in me. I really can't explain how much I need that, because I felt it the opposite before,
Yeah.
and it was an emotional low point where everything was a priority but me.
Mhm.
So that one has to be there. And the next one, I need sustainability of it, because well, I take the fact I need forgiveness. I need to be able to give it, and I need to be able to receive it,
Mhm.
because I strive to do everything so right. I often fall short to where I just do it wrong.
Mhm.
And without that forgiveness, it'll lead to a detriment that has to have a forgiveness. And I must be able to forgive, because there's nothing perfect in this world.
Yeah.
There's no perfect marriage. There's no perfect love. We could be perfect for each other, but there's no perfect scenario.
Exactly.
So without that forgiveness, I need it. I need forgiveness, love, and that babe, I got you. You give me those, we can work on the rest.
Mhm.
I know we talk about economic and money and everything, and it does play a big part. And but those three things, I need me to have a fundamental piece,
Mhm.
because all right. Let's talk about economics. And remember we talked about the Taco Bell scenario.
Yeah.
And if I lose it, what if, let's say the finances wasn't there? I just had a setback, and now I lost my job. For her to come home and say, "Babe, I got a bag of uh, Los Doritos tacos. You gonna eat?"
Yeah.
You know, and she could be the finest, sexiest, baddest El Cato Taco Bell female in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
But when it got tough, she was still with them bag of tacos.
Yeah. You
Because
remember
you,
that?
yeah, that shit right there means a lot. Like, you go hard, I'm going hard. I'm just going hard for you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna fuck up, but the love ain't going nowhere. I'm still down for you.
Yes.
That's what that means. That's what my three
Yes.
components.
Yes, sir. Well said, sir. Well said. We thank you guys for asking these questions, because we are speaking directly from the heart when we share our opinions directly with the audience.
Right on. So I think this has been a good Wednesday night.
Yeah.
That was a babe. That was a great question. Just FYI, I do like Los Doritos tacos. I know you don't like Taco Bell like that, but if you want to bring me some, I know you down for me. And with that being said, I think this is a good night. I think we should end this, Don, on a good note.
Yeah, we thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to join us in 2 weeks for another engagement discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, and follow at Date Affirm the Real
And don't forget, next Tuesday, the poet and the therapist
Therapist.
they get it in.
Indeed, we
If
do.
you like this, you'll love that too.
Indeed. Thanks again, Kia. We always try to put our heart into these topics, and I do as much as research as possible without overindulging in a vast amount of
Hold
information because I
on,
want to keep it flowing
hold
and
on, bro.
fluid. Yes, sir.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
we go to Instagram. I think we got another message. We can
go ahead.
let
I
me
don't have
bring let
Instagram
me
up. Go
let me
ahead.
bring it up. Hold on, I'll transfer it over. We got another
Okay.
question here.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't get a chance to read it. That come from the therapist.
What do you guys think hinder people from having fun and a healthy marriage? Ooh,
Ooh,
let me see
oh,
if I can
I
wrap my
got
brain
that one.
around that. Oh, go
I
ahead, sir.
got
You go first.
I go
Go
first
ahead.
on this one.
All
What's going
right.
to hinder people? Stress, money, lack, drift.
Mm,
Let me start. So the stress of day to day that we don't know how to deal with it.
okay.
Two, the economic pressure that you have went from either lack of money or the so-called evil money brings.
Ooh,
And the drift. Often we get comfortable with each other, and we often tend to we drift apart, and we forget about the things that bring us together should also keep us together. Like for instance, me and my baby met over cigars. We go smoke a cigar on a regular. There's a couple things we can do, but we're planning a wedding, so we got to put our money toward the wedding. But we're gonna have time to go smoke us some sticks,
yeah.
reflect and talk, you know. And my baby go out, she look good, so she could have that body banging, bow bow. Um, it's like Martin right now. But those are things that we have to go back to the basics, and we forget about those.
Yeah.
We often forget about some of the things we did to get together should be there to keep us together.
Yeah.
Go
Man.
ahead.
What hinders people from having a fun and healthy marriage? Society pressures. One of the concepts I'm referring to is modern influence. And the way I say that is for just giving a brief concept of my experience. Back in my early 20s, I was engaged with a lady, and she had a sister who married a wonderful guy who so happened to be a engineer and working at Dale Austin. He was making bukus of money. So we went to their wedding, and this is how much pressure society expectations is. $50,000 for the wedding, cake on every table, open bar. You know, 13 bridesmaids, 13 groom. Not everybody can do that. So of course, this is her sister. So right after the wedding, right, she's like, "Oh, now I want to get married." And so I'm like, "Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's discuss. Let's try to plan." And when you start planning it out, and you got to pay $1,300 for a cake, $1,500 just for a DJ, and $5,000 to rent the building out, it's like, hold on here. Are we having a wedding? Or are we just spending money because we got it like that? So I think sometimes the society's pressure of the situation of marriage can sometimes cause people to have unrealistic views. You have to sometimes scale that back. I had a partner of mine, a close friend of mine, who had a wedding where it was only his best man and his wife only had a bridesmaid, which was her sister. That's how simple it was, but it was the most beautiful and elegant wedding. And he only had about 20 guests, me, my sister, and some other close friends that we grew up with. The most beautiful and elegant wedding that was simplistically put together, yet it was ceremoniously outstanding. So sometimes I think people have to think about what are they trying to portray in a marriage. Are you trying to outdo the next person, or are you trying to put something on social media that makes it seem like you're the best person that ever had a wedding, or are you just trying to do something to make you happy because you're going into a wedding and you're already $50,000 in debt? It's gonna take a while to get out that hole because you expensed credit cards, you maxed them out, you took loans. How can you have a fun and healthy marriage if you're already in debt going into it from day one? So, Lady Shy, that's my take on what can hinder people from having a fun and healthy marriage. Not to get on my high horse, and but yes, that's my concept of it.
Right. So I hear you.
Yeah,
I mean, Black Elvis ain't but $300 in Vegas.
yeah, I know, right? Get out there. If Britney Spears can do it, right?
Yeah.
On a
So,
drunk weekend, you can do it too.
but you're right. You are kind of both said the same thing,
Yeah,
but two different ways. Well, when you said social media, but also the economics also factors in it. You starting off in the negative.
yeah.
You know, what did we? And this is what we no we should kind of we're gonna go talk about one day in the future. What do we get married for?
Is it for love or
Is
for
it?
money?
Is it?
Is it? Or is it for fame?
I know. Is it? Are we getting married for love? Or are we getting married for the idea?
The concept.
Or I know guys who they may not be marriage material, but they feel they have to be married.
Hmm.
And
It's
then
a
probably some
pressure.
ladies out there too. You're not marriage material, but you feel you have to be married.
If all your brothers and sisters are married and you run around here the next in line, sometimes that family pressure can build up and say, hey, you better
Yeah.
get married. Especially if you have respect for your father and he's in your life and he's showing you the blueprint of how he did things and you're trying to match his integrity. It can be very detrimental to your health.
Yeah. You having a wife at home and have your private parts down the street. You just feel you gotta be married. You're not marriage material. You just
Girlfriend, little
I
wife on the side.
yeah, But that's that we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah, indeed. So we appreciate that question, Lady Shy. We also appreciate your biblical verses as well. So keep bringing those uh, to the meetings.
All right, ladies, we'll see you next week, and you'll see us in two. Everybody else see us in two.
Indeed.
We out.
Peace.